Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn with us right now from the beautiful state of Tennessee. Congresswoman, let me get your sense of this dust-up with Mexico, because I believe it is rare for a planned head of state meeting to be canceled days before said meeting. The closest I can compare it to is the chill with Barack Obama and Benjamin Netanyahu when he had agreed to speak to a joint session of Congress. Of course, he was invited by then Speaker John Boehner, but this is almost in that camp because this guy's not coming at all.
You're exactly right. It is something that is unfortunate, Neil. And I think that the president would have been well served to go ahead and come in and meet with President Trump and also meet with congressional leaders and begin a dialogue. The American people, and I'm certainly many of the Mexican people, would like to see some definition on that southern border and put an end to the trafficking, the coyotes that are working through that area. That has to be disruptive to them and their families. So this is a problem that needs to be solved. And I think he would have been well served to say, let me be a part of this solution and let's work this out. Now, we might not get everything we want from them on doing this, but I have to tell you, anytime I'm given the opportunity to be at the table, I will try to find a way to extend a hand and say, we may disagree, let's do it agreeably and work to a solution.
Yeah, you know the old line, you don't want to back the other guy into a corner. You want to make it look mutual, but
right.
Things and tensions being what they are, both presidents kind of backed themselves into a corner. No surprise, Donald Trump took the position he did. He's repeated that many, many times that Mexico is going to pay for this wall, and no surprise here that when pinned to a corner, the Mexican president would just say, no, you're out of your mind. Now, what I'm wondering about is we have a close relationship between our respective peoples. A lot of Americans go to Mexico, visit, vacation. There are a lot of Mexicans who do the same in the U.S. In fact, a good many of them stay. But my question is where you see that going and whether this could accelerate beyond what both presidents thought or intended.
I think President Trump has been remarkably successful in reaching out to those who have previously opposed him. And we saw that with the union leaders coming in. We saw it with some of the tech industry, with big business. And, Neil, I think you're going to see him continue to do this type outreach. I have no doubt he is going to do his best to make certain that there are good relationships with Mexico, with Canada, and with other countries around the globe. It is important that our allies know where we stand. It is important that our enemies know that we are going to be forceful. And I think that we have a president in President Trump who is not going to shy away from making those positions known.
Well, I think, as you indicated the last time we chatted, it won't be business as usual with this president. Let me get your sense. I'm sure you've been watching these powwows in the White House, Congresswoman, and one that intrigued me were these union leaders who were singing the president's praises. That is, singing the praises of a Republican president. This is unprecedented, including the Teamsters president who was with me yesterday, James Hoff, who said, I like this guy, I can work with this guy better than I could work with the last guy. Paraphrasing here, but to make the point, that's something you don't hear said of Republicans.
Well, that is very true. And President Trump has chosen to show respect for individuals and respect for the opinion that they hold, even though he differs with them. And you and I know that the basis of any relationship has to be mutual respect, and that has to be recognized. That is essential for sitting down and working out issues. I think it is to the president's credit that he has invited them, took them into the Oval Office, listened to them. President Trump is big on relationships. He is one of those wonderful Americans that has a curious mind. I have lots of constituents that desire that curious mind and knowing what we do and how the process works. And I think you will see the president continue that outreach and ask people about how they approach solving their problems, how they approach working with their groups, the Teamsters, how they approach dealing with their wage negotiations, with their membership. What are the goals that they seek to achieve? How do they see themselves in 5 years, 10 years? That's how you bring people to the table, and then you agree where you can, you disagree where you don't, and you look for consensus.
Real quickly, you know, a number of these sanctuary city mayors have said they're not
Yes.
going to toe his line on this, and they're going to defy these immigration orders that he's been rifling with signatures here. What do you make of that?
Right. I think that the sanctuary city mayors need to pay attention to the fact that they are working outside of the federal code and federal law. And you cannot encourage breaking the law. Just as sanctuary cities, for those in the country illegally, what happens if you have individuals that don't want to pay taxes or don't want to abide by certain regulations from the EPA or Department of Energy or OSHA? There are all of these other issues that crop up. It is a slippery slope. We need to nip this in the bud, and they need to come into compliance with federal law. Is it proper for the president to say, yes, you have to apply with the entire code, not bits and pieces that you like, but the law? We are a nation of laws. We abide by the rule of law. That applies to everything, not just the ones that you like, and this picking and choosing and circumventing the law through executive orders, those days are over. We will abide by the rule of law. We will follow an orderly process. We will get our work done, and we'll deliver a product for the American people. I think people respect that.
All right, Congresswoman, thank you for taking the time here.